Hey guys, welcome to Jerry's Live. As always, I'm your host, Amy Gardner-Dean, and today we've got JL 105.
Which stands for Jerry's Live, I found out.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Not
like,
Jimmy Leslie. That's a huge ego, huh?
Who told him? Who told you? That's
thought,
it's,
the first time I was like,
We're-
you guys named an episode after me. Wow.
Today it does stand for Jimmy Leslie. We're gonna make this your day.
Okay.
we've got Jimmy Leslie that's the resident artist of Colart,
Yeah.
and who manages brands like Liquitex and Winsor Newton, and he's also the director of the Fine Art Collective.
Yes, that's our education program.
Yes, and he is going to be here to show us some of this really awesome, cool stuff. We're going to be talking about doing journaling on the fly with watercolors and some of the really cool pens that Winsor Newton's come out with that are waterproof. And of all the people that I think ever met, you are the one who is out there every day. You're always sketching. You're always working. You're always posting stuff. You're like one of those people where you're just like, every time I see you post, I'm like, oh, I need to do that.
Oh,
so it's like I'm excited, and then I'm like, damn it.
We don't want.
Jimmy,
we should
stop
talk
doing
about that.
Yeah,
because I don't want expectations to be too high for people.
But it's really awesome because you're really in the trenches. You're really doing the things that you're talking about doing. And we even did one of our New Year's resolutions was talking about journaling and putting together a little set.
Yeah,
kind of inspired by you before, when I think it was the beginning of 2018. So, but he's going to be showing us that kind of stuff today. But before we start, I just wanted to say that we decided that you're gonna you now, this is the 4th episode you're on.
Okay.
You're getting the inaugural Alec Baldwin Award for Jerry's Artarama.
Like a Saturday Night Live. What?
This is our gift to you, because now you are the person who's
Oh, that's fabulous.
Because everybody needs
That's great.
needs a Bob Ross in space.
The inaugural Alec Baldwin
If
Award.
anybody can pull that shirt
All
off,
right, that's
it's
great.
you.
Thank
So-
you.
so I'm gonna-
that
so-
was totally unexpected.
So I'm going to turn this over to Jimmy, because he's got a
Okay.
lot of really cool stuff, and we want to
Yeah.
make sure we get through it
Yeah,
all.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
and just fire away questions
Yeah,
on
please do that.
YouTube and Facebook as they come in, and the girls will pick a time to ask it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, really, throw them out there. So this is a super exciting episode for me. It's been fun the last 3 times. I've enjoyed the format. I've really loved it. But man, is this in my wheelhouse.
This is personal.
It is, because it's, obviously I love art.
Yeah.
I love travel. I have a huge passion for travel. I feel super fortunate that I get to work in a job where I get to travel, because I don't think it's unusual that artists love travel, because it's an opportunity to see new things and be inspired all the time. Love travel, of course, for personal reasons as well. You know, personal trips, right? Trips just for fun, right? As well as the work ones. But everything has an opportunity to inspire. So I love the sketching on the go. But you brought up a good point before, and let's start with this. And I wasn't going to.
Sure.
I probably average over, I don't know how long. So I have these little sketchbooks, all different ones I've used over the years. And in my studio, you know, they're probably this high if I stack them. And I forget how many by last count, 80 of them or so, or who knows, whatever. And I probably average about a page a day in there. So that could be sometimes where I'm traveling around and there's 5 sketches in there, and then there might be a day when there's not. Now, I say that for any of you out there watching this right now, obviously you have some sort of interest in art, of course, and hopefully, you like us, Amy, and other artists, you have that love of travel. This is about capturing things, but travel both near and far, but also about not setting expectations too high. And what I mean by that, I'm not a big fan of the challenges you see on Instagram.
Neither am I.
Listen, that's cool if it fuels you and it works, it's great. But I kind of hate if somebody looks and feels like, I didn't reach the challenge today, and then they beat themselves up.
Or stop altogether.
Yeah, don't beat yourselves up. So we're going to get back into that, but let's just jump into color right away. I want to show a few colors. We'll talk about those, and then we're going to open up some sketchbooks, talk about how we put this stuff together, give you some tips to inspire you and get you going right away, really get you working. So we're going to use a Series 7. This is a Winsor Newton Series 7 number 2 brush. Now again, I'm working in a lot of sketchbooks, real tiny. you know, so I just have some things tabbed here. There's a bunch of things, but
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
yeah. So something little tiny like this, this little campfire, which was from a trip to Woodstock, New York, last summer. You know, you can see that my marks would be very, very small.
Right.
And so the Series 7 brush is a sable brush. I'm going to load it up with some water. This one has not been used. This is brand new.
Okay.
It's off camera. We're loading up with water here. And it'll look like that. I don't know if we can see that clear. Sort of looks a little bit rounded there, Amy. You can see the water's on it. And I'm not going to do it at you. I'm going to flick it over to the side. Yeah, and then it should flick into a nice point like that. And what we're going to do is we'll take some colors, and let's look right here. The top row of colors we have right here are what Winsor & Newton's referring to as jewel-like colors. They have a really beautiful, beautiful clarity to them, transparency. And this one here is Quinacridone Violet, which comes in tube and pan. And we're going to lay that color down.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous. We'll feather that out right there, and we'll let that dry, of course, and we'll see.
That's really concentrated straight off a dry
Yeah,
pan.
yeah, really
That's
beautiful.
Like crazy
Gorgeous
bright.
color.
Yeah,
now, these
very
were part.
jewel-like.
Yeah, these were part of limited edition sets, and then they were in different sets actually. Some of them were in different sets. These are ones people were really attracted to, so they've made their way into the line.
Okay.
So that's why we call them, with the air quotes around, new.
Right.
They have been seen, but this is now new in the line.
Right.
And then this one is aqua green. I'm going to load that up. Now again, I'm going to show you a set that I use when I travel. Like I got my little everyday pack here. I'll show you that. Right now, we're just using the pans here as we go through them. That's aqua green.
Wow.
Yeah, that's gorgeous as well.
Is that a phthalo base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, it's got that punch to it.
Yeah, that's gorgeous because you can take that and I'm going to, you know what, I was going to jump ahead. I wanted to throw a yellow in there to really make that,
I'm not
that green, but I'm going to
use whatever color
I want
you
to
want.
use time wisely, so I'm
it's
going
the Jimmy Leslie 105.
Yeah, right. So we've heard. Transparent orange.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, these are some beautiful colors. So some of these are in the kit that I'm going to show shortly because I am 1 month off of a trip to Italy. A month. I was there a month ago. That's a little.
That's like you're going right back,
I'm enjoying
man.
my time.
I was to say,
here, Amy,
what a horrible job you've got, Jimmy.
Well, no, that wasn't for work.
Oh,
that wasn't for.
okay,
No, that was
okay.
pure pleasure. That was.
Okay, so this one's for work.
You know, yeah. But and like I said, I enjoy these episodes. But yeah, I was in Italy a month ago.
Wow.
That was pretty good. And if my wife is giving the support she always does, and she's out there watching this.
Oh, she is.
That is she. Thank you for that amazing trip. She plans it all. I just show up. This is Cobalt Green Deep. Now, I want to show this one, before we go to the last one, I want to show this one dry. And you can start to see it already here, but it's a granulating color.
Right.
So it's really settling in the depth of the paper right there. So I like that if you start to, we're not going to go through tube labels for each thing because I want to get to the guts of actually talking about sketching. But definitely if you go online, well, I'm sure whether it's on Winsor & Newton or whether it's on Jerry's, you would see when you go to the color, you can see colors that are staining colors. So things like a phthalocyanine stains a whole lot.
Right.
Or granulating colors. And again, we can see that the
you can see it
settling into the depths there. So clean our brush off. And we'll go into this last one of the new colors, and this one is smalt. So smalt is a color. It's sort of it's a blue that really creates a nice violet.
Yeah.
Smalt goes back to Egyptian times. It would have been a glass that was infused with cobalt. It would actually be the blue that was used in Delft tiles.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right? Yeah.
It looks very much,
Yeah, okay, there you go. So smalt is for you. You know, we have different versions today, synthetic versions today, but it's trying to match that. So these are our jewel-like colors.
Yeah.
Now, underneath there, we'll take a quick look at our cadmium-free colors, and then we're going to get into actually sketching. So a quick note about cadmium-free. In past episodes I've been on, we've talked about that. We've got a cadmium-free lemon, so that's going to be a cooler yellow. And here's where, while I have this on the brush.
So this is good that you're saying that, because we've been doing color theory episodes.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, you know. Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you want, and that's something, whether you're sketching on the go, whether you're working in a studio, understanding mood. One of the things I used to say to my students, especially if they were dealing with landscapes, don't worry so much about what it looks like.
Yes.
Which sounds a little odd, but more what it feels like.
Yes.
Right? And temperature has a lot to do with that. So that's cadmium-free lemon. This is cadmium-free yellow pale. Now, a note about this. I'm using the pan colors right now to lay out these colors. Sometimes, and I'm sure this has probably come up in an episode in the past, Amy, people will sometimes take a tube color, they'll squeeze it out and make their own pan.
Yes.
Right. So they're formulated a little bit differently. I mean, people will ask me, can you do that? Well, you can do almost anything you want. The pans are formulated to be re-wet over time, again and again and again. The tube colors, if you leave them out and they dry, sometimes what will happen is they'll crack.
Right.
They can crumble a little bit.
Right.
They'll be harder on your brush because they don't want to re-wet as easily. They want to let down nicely while they're fresh out of the tube. Yeah.
So basically because these are so thick, they've formulated them with kind of more of a binder, probably.
Yeah, well, you've got.
I'm gonna say
you've got a little bit more glycerin in there that's going to help it re-wet.
Okay.
We've got cadmium, just straight up cadmium yellow, as well, and you can tell now. If we look at cadmium yellow, that's a good time to just give a quick, brief history, and I mean really quick. Cadmium and cadmium yellows go back to the early 1800s, not in regular production until later than that. In 1851 or 54, this is where we would fact check afterwards, but it's either, I think it's 54.
I think we'll give you that 3-year.
Thank you. I think it's 54. The Crystal Palace exhibition in London, Winsor Newton came out with Aurora Yellow. That was the cadmium yellow at the time. And then you don't have regular production of cadmium red until about 1919, 1917, 1919. So really only about 100 years ago. So the art industry is not the first industry to move away from cadmiums.
Right.
People who use cadmium for soldering because it's a very soft metal have gone away from that. In jewelry, certainly, and other applications as well. And this is more about, and I'm going to lay out cadmium-free yellow deep, which I like to refer to as, well, we could call it sunshine in a tube or sunshine in a pan right
it's like
here.
A sunflower yellow, almost kind of a.
Yeah, that's a good way. If we were naming this as a designer color, absolutely, you could call it sunflower. A little bit like, or actually, I think quite a bit like, sort of similar to Indian yellow.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, really strong. Straight up orange. So anyone who wants to totally get rid of cadmium in a studio, we've now got these matching colors, full-on orange right here. And again, one of the hallmarks of cadmium, true cadmium colors, is their opacity. So as I let those colors down, you're not seeing the that orange. You're not seeing that transparency.
I was actually just noticing that.
And then we've got cadmium-free scarlet. Lay that down. So really bold, really strong, really bold.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
And again, keep that in mind. Those are some of the hallmarks of cadmium colors. And now with these cadmium-free, that they're going to be opaque. They're going to be strong in their mass tone like this right out of the tube, but they're going to mix to create more natural light, more muted tones. So again, favored by the Impressionists who were painting outside. Then we go with straight up cadmium-free red. And this worked out. I didn't really think about where I was placing these on the page. I'll have enough room. Okay, and we're gonna. I don't have a pan here. I'm gonna use the tube in this case. On this one, cadmium-free red deep. We'll put some of that out. So yeah, if you're using tubes, put out what you need. Again, if you're doing this, and then you're going to paint the next day.
Right.
I'm not suggesting.
Right,
Don't,
you scrap it all. Yeah.
No. Don't waste your supplies. I'm not suggesting if you had that left over, oh my gosh, don't use that.
Right.
I'm just saying if you get if you're gonna
if you're making something
an appreciable layer like that, it's gonna again be harder to re-wet. And again, certainly with the pan, you can see because I have more volume out, or sorry, the tube, I have more volume out there. It's a little bit easier to get a larger volume on my brush. So there's a really deep color right there. So let's put aside the brush.
If you had not, if I didn't see those were CAD free, I would assume those were not.
Yeah.
Because I was very impressed with the acrylics.
Okay, sure.
But this is Winsor Newton, so different branding.
Yeah.
Still very successful.
So key thing with these two, what's really important as well is when art materials companies source pigments, you can get it from different sources.
Right.
And even if you were to go genuine cadmium across different brands, you know this because you deal with so many different brands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. And forget even cadmiums. Just take a yellow ochre across brand to brand to brand to brand.
Strangely, especially the earth tones.
I
think there's way more variation, which seems like that would be a no-brainer that it'd be the same. You know?
So we're going to move this. We'll take a quick look at some other colors I have laid out, and then I'm going to start drawing for you guys. This is something I would suggest, especially color theory stuff you guys have been doing. Come back at the episode because I know right now if you were gonna frantically write all these things down, you can't do it. Go back to the episode, but I'll show you just a few things in here. I was using some of the cadmium-free colors and some of these new colors, so mixtures of these. And in this case, here's Smalt, and the Quinacridone Violet gives you this really deep.
That's really nice.
Yeah, really deep. And
a very true violet, when you've got a very blue violet and a red violet, that's just...
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, sort of, about these temperatures where that's pushing towards some of the blues in there, so it's bringing out more or some of the red, so it's bringing out a deeper violet. If I skip over here, I like where I've got Quinacridone Violet again, but with Cadmium Scarlet, get like this deep burgundy. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's really nice.
I really like this one. Here, I won't skip this one. Quinacridone Violet again, right? So our complementary color of a violet to a yellow gets me, and this is where if you're dealing with small sets on the go, it pays for you to mix and play.
You've made an earth tone almost.
Exactly.
It's almost like between a raw umber and a yellow ochre. It's very...
Exactly. And you get another earth tone here with cadmium-free orange and aqua green. Yeah, you get that beautiful sort of olive green. Right? So there's that. Now, I'm going to show you this one, and then we're going to look at some sketchbooks, and then we're going to look at my set, and then we're going to start using these things.
Just a little bit.
All right, we'll go up. We can even go here. You know what I'll do? I'm actually going to get these out of the way. I'm going to mention real quick for you guys what I didn't mention here. This is cadmium-free in gouache, right? So gouache is opaque watercolor.
Yeah.
I'll mention gouache a little bit when we start sketching and playing. Just kind of hold your thought on that. But cadmium-free in the gouache here, and I'll come back to those. But I'm going to set them off to the side here for a moment so we can take a look at this. This was the colors in my little kit, and let's start breaking out the kit here. So I'll come back to this. This is my go-to every day, Amy. This is just Amy asked me, did this hold a canteen? I honestly, I don't know. It looks like it probably would. So maybe if we got a veteran watching, he'll set me straight here. It looks like it. I just got this at an Army-Navy store for like $5, or I think. And
they're tear-proof.
Right. You can't.
Probably like a 600 denier nylon or something like that.
Can't beat it, right? So what I have in here, when I say go-to every day, I've got a rag, all right? I've got that instead of paper towels because I can just use it over and over and over again. So less waste, less stuff to hold and carry. Got my sketchbook. This is the most recent one, like these. And these colors here, so this sketchbook was just started a month ago.
Okay.
Okay. And I started it the day, so you'll see these same colors right here on this sheet because I put them all in my little, my little kit here. So what I wanted to do, since I dropped them in here, now these aren't the same colors, let me be clear. I took these on this trip.
Right.
After the trip, I put some other colors in here,
Right, yeah.
So sometimes there might be things when you're going to specifically go to a place.
Right.
And there are colors that you want in your kit. But it could be hard to know if you're looking at that right there.
Right, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the benefit of your tube. So I think if you have a little travel kit, any travel kit that accepts little half pans, and you put stuff in there for a trip, make yourself in your sketchbook, right? Because that right there, Amy, is the aqua green that we have.
Okay,
Right, but
okay,
somebody might
right.
not know. I mean, you saw a little of the edge.
Unless you can see a little bit of it where it's thinned out with
Right.
water, you don't know.
This is the Quinacridone.
Yeah.
Right, so that's in there as well. But I took, so some of the colors that are still in here, I took to Italy with me. Transparent orange, cat-free scarlet, cat-free yellow pale, deep, small, aqua, actually quite a few of them, really. I supplemented with cerulean blue, yellow ochre, Winsor blue green shade, and burnt sienna for Italy.
It's a very Italian
Yeah.
color. That's, my son just got back from Italy last week. Was sending pictures the whole time. Looks like that's in all the landscape.
Oh, yeah,
It's amazing to see that broken down into single colors.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
so this is
awesome.
my everyday go-to. This is actually an old kit that Winsor Newton makes. I think it'd be a cool thing if we came back with it. Sometimes it used to be called the Bijou box.
Yeah.
Right. We have other enamel ones, metal enamel ones like this that are sort of longer. I like this one.
Yeah.
Again, kind of doesn't matter what you put it in, but my little water well goes there. This actually holds water. We'll have water and things with us all the time. Or if I don't have water, I'll scoop it out of something for sketching on the go. Now somebody might get real purist and say, well, there might be little stuff in there and dirty things, but
It's a working sketchbook.
It's a working sketchbook.
You're not making something for the Louvre.
Right, exactly. So let's. So what else is in this kit? I've got a flat brush. Here's this one, which is a Cadmium 3/8 inch 1-stroke. So it's just a nice flat brush. I can get a good clean line with it with the edge too. I've done, which might freak some people out. I've cut the end off of it, and I will do that even with.
I know.
Fairly expensive brand new
People
brush.
flip
Yeah,
out.
I'll cut the end off.
Yeah.
Now I will be. Usually, what I'll do is I'll make sure I do it with a very sharp knife. I'm careful about that, and then I'll usually put some varnish on the end so it doesn't. But I do that because I want to be able to fit that in my little pack.
Right, because it's not about, it's making it so that your brush isn't going to get damaged.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not for any other purpose.
And I imagine by this point it's become so much of a habit, it's a matter of balance and feel as well.
Sure, absolutely. Well, here's the thing: if you're going to sketch on the go, you need to have things work for you.
Yes.
Now, let's look at a few sketches. Or should we show the rest of the pack? There's different ways we can look at. Let's show a few more things in the pack. I've got some of our fine liners here, which we've got. Winsor Newton has new 0.1, 0.3. 0.5, 0.8, and 1.0. We'll do a few little lines. You want to do this with me, Amy? You do the one. And get those out of the pack. There's the one. Maybe we should write them down as we do it.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Right. That way everybody can see the lines.
That's a substantial size pen.
Yeah. Here's a 0.1. So that's what you're getting. That's how fine of a line you're getting out of there. This is the one I like as a go-to for the size sketchbook that I use.
Yeah.
This is 0.3 because I like to use fine liner with watercolor, and it can be too heavy if I use something like that.
Oh no, I agree.
And overpower it. I do have the 0.5. Right. Hatch and cross hatch with that, and we have the 8 there. Yep, 0.8 right here. Right. So I've got my fine liners in there. Just got a little mechanical pencil. Everything's about ease with me when I travel, and especially if I'm flying or something like that.
Right.
I don't. Everything goes on my back. I don't. What do you call it? Check a bag. I don't check a bag. So I don't need a knife or little
or
sharpener.
Even a sharpener. Sometimes they're weird about.
They could be weird about it, but I feel like the little sharpeners don't give me a long enough piece of graphite I want, so I can do what I want, and it's all in there. So I take that with me as well. In the side pockets, because I make massive amounts of mistakes, I got my kneaded eraser. I was making mistakes. And then on the other side, kind of a go-to is permanent white gouache. So what I can do with that, I can always in a watercolor add in a spot where maybe I didn't leave the page white and I wanted to, or I can also mix it with my colors to get an opaque passage for something where I really want to stand out.
Right.
So I've got that, I've got brushes, rags, all that stuff. I'm gonna move that over. And let's take a look at a few more sketches so we can start talking about how you guys can utilize things. Sketching and traveling. There's travels that are near, there's travels that are far. Now, I know that going to the dentist is not something you would probably say, oh, I'm traveling today. Somebody says, where are you going? I'm
but
going
you might
to the
be there
dentist.
just as long as a flight would
You
be.
could be. My idea of being, and what I love, I owe the sketchbook practice to a professor in college who made us keep sketchbooks, and I've done it ever since. And the two things that I would say for all of you out there who sometimes feel like, I don't have enough space to work, I don't have enough time to work. Those are the two of the laments of artists. Artists will never say, I've got way too much time to work, and my studio's too big. That doesn't get said, right?
Yeah.
So a sketchbook is always on the go. And when I say always on the go, if you look at this page, Amy, this is my daughter's Iona. This is Watching the Sound of Music with Iona.
Wow.
So while we were doing that, I was drawing these nuns and characters from the movie and little girl there. I think she had a little...
You had a little sailor suit.
Yeah, right. And so it's about keeping things quick and gestural and things like that. And we'll jump ahead to a few things.
Can you zoom in on those, Katie, since it's such a little sketchbook?
Do you want to go
make
back
sure? Yeah,
to
because it's the quality of the line work is really nice.
You have to push up. I can only zoom so.
There we go.
Yeah. So something like this, Amy, I'm coming in first, and you can see just a little bit of lines to indicate. You can see a line for the tree, right? You can see a little the edge of the house. I'm sort of making marks to let myself know where, where I'm going to place my image, and then I'm coming in with color. And you'll see different things throughout the sketchbook. So this, right, this is a car fire on the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey. So this was a situation where I'll use reference photos when I can't. Right, I couldn't break it out in the car in traffic. It's probably worse than a cell phone or being texting, painting and driving. Although I have painted from the passenger seat of cars before. But this is with gouache because I'm really getting that intensity. And if you compare those two, if I go back to the other flame for a moment, let me skip back through there. Yeah, there is an intensity to it, but you see the transparency with gouache. Right,
That's awesome.
You don't right there. Softer version of those same colors, this is at the airport.
Wow.
So this is using white and adding white, the designer's gouache, permanent white.
To that palette,
Right, and getting really soft early morning colors.
Yeah, that's nice.
In there, right. So you can really pick up things like that. And, I'm drawing my accountant there while he wasn't looking. And early morning commute, too. I might sit in traffic. That's an opportunity real quick, because I'm a big anti don't driving in, right? So be safe. I wasn't doing that. But this was absolutely dead traffic.
Right.
And I'm like, and I loved all of that I saw.
How that
glow.
bloom happens with the lights. Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. I never thought of it that way, but a bloom, it is like flowers.
Yeah.
And you just get this color spilling everywhere. And this is, and you can see down here, this is the smalt and quinacridone magenta that we just looked at, which is giving all of that intensity in the sky.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, so very kind of cool things that are happening with that. Same kind of thing here, although this was done plein air. This is downtown San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
So this was done at night. Again, using a lot of the quinacridone and a lot of the smalt in there as well. So let's skip that one for a second, and let's,
Quick question.
Yeah.
Those fine liners that you have, somebody's wondering if they are safe to use with Copic markers or if that will smear it.
Oh, because the Copic marker is alcohol based. Oh, that's a great question, and I don't. Yeah, I got to be real straight. I don't know the answer. I haven't used them with that. I've been using them ever since we've come out with them, but only with watercolor.
Right.
And but it brings up a good thing we can discuss: non-fading and water resistant as well. So that's why you'll see a lot of the work in the sketchbook, and this is all straight from Italy. But again, if you're somebody who has, I don't know, you guys, if you have one offset here, and if one of you can grab,
We can test that.
or even a solvent.
Also,
Yeah.
are you working in
Lavender
Global
stuff.
Arts books?
Yes, I think that's what
Or
it's
the
called.
handbook?
Yeah, handbook.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Right, and so a few things about that. I like everything to be quick and ready to go. Like I said, this
Yeah.
is my go-to kit.
Right.
This is what I took to Italy because
Right.
how I work depends on what my trip is and who I'm with.
Right.
Now, what I
Yes.
mean, right?
No,
So
I know
what I
that,
mean
yeah.
with it, I'm with my wife on this trip, just her and I. She's a photographer.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, nice, but you know, if we see something, she can take, you know, a ton of photos.
Right.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Right.
And I go, oh, if
Yeah.
I'm gonna break out a whole
Yeah.
French
yes.
easel.
Oh no, that's
Right?
she's gonna be done. By
Yeah,
the time
would-
you're ready to start. Yeah.
Precisely. Oh, and here we have one. So let's do that. Let's do two things. This one's already.
Yeah.
We'll do it while it's already done.
Looks like it works to me.
So we're not having an issue with that. And then let's go. I mean, while it's immediately wet, I would expect to get something.
I mean, you can see maybe a tad of drag, but not even
Yeah,
enough
as opposed to right there, but not
It's
to.
so it's
Jimmy?
blending in.
Yeah.
Back your head up just a little bit.
Oh yeah, sure. This doesn't help. Yeah, there's yeah.
That's the hardest thing to do
Yeah.
when you're filming is not put your hand
Yeah.
on the camera.
Wow. That's
yeah,
great.
that looks
so the
pretty good.
Copic, yeah. So yeah, Amanda had asked, will Copic markers over this
Yeah, good. I'm glad we can
be an
answer
issue? But look at that with
Now
the
we know.
alcohol.
that. Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and just that immediately. That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, good, cool. I'm glad we can answer that question. So yes, if I look at sketching on the go as something that is about forming a habit, and this is why when we started this, I said I'll average a page a day because it's been a habit of mine over
Right.
the years, not because I feel like I have to.
Right.
I have to.
Right.
If I don't do that, I've failed. So let's take an image, and here's a few things that happen. I'm going to take an image from Italy, Amy, and we'll put it right here. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is a little street in Rome. Colosseum would be back
Sorry,
here.
let's slide it up.
Yep,
just a
slide that
touch
up.
So we can
Cool, slide
make
that up.
sure they
I
can
can zoom
see
a
that.
little.
Okay.
I was little so you can see more.
That's good. That's good. So, in a situation like this, there's a few things that you want to do when you begin sketching. Sometimes I go straight in with the pen. I realize that can get a little bit nerve-wracking for people. And I don't always do that. Sometimes I come in with the pencil too. But it depends on how much time I have. So if I back up here quickly to just 2 days ago, or Friday, this was New York City, and
Wow.
that
Yeah.
was move that down just a little bit. This was the High Line in New York City, which is old elevated rail line. So I'm looking down on the street there. This was a 3-minute sketch. So it was literally, I was going to catch a train, and I was like, I wanna just capture this real quick, and I may make a painting from it later on.
Right. Okay.
Right? So this was just very quickly about getting a gesture, an idea of how those buildings were converging, and then I just very quickly laid indications of shadow, really pale washes of some warmth from the sun coming over here and hitting the trees along the road. So I didn't go in with the pencil, try to get things super perfect. I'm never trying
Right.
to
You
do
didn't.
that
Yeah.
in
You don't have
Sketchbook.
time. Yeah.
Never trying to do that in the sketchbook, but even so, it's about economy and time. So, as I said, if I'm on a trip like this with my wife, it's different than another trip we're going to be taking in another month or so, where we'll have a little house rented, and
Oh,
we'll go with the
nice.
kids, and I'll get up in the morning 2 hours before everybody else. I'll go out and find a little trail in the woods.
Right.
I'll
That's
take
nice.
I'll take a little pochade box then that might have watercolors in it, but might have some tubes of gouache as well.
Okay.
I'll have a little easel, like a photographer's tripod
Yeah.
that'll hook to that.
Nice.
A little
Okay.
more, still be compact.
Right. But you're not.
Okay, so things to pay attention to. number one, if I look at this, my focal point is really driving back to this hill back here. A lot of times what I'll do, just like I did in this one above here, is I'll actually lay out a box. Now my page, right, it is a box like this, but giving myself a little bit of an edge just kind of helps me hone in on the subject here a little bit. And if I look at it, it's all about here, you know, kind of roughly in the middle. And I'm looking at, and I'm not worrying, this is how quickly I would be working with this, right? So this is not working more quickly for the benefit of anybody paying attention here in this episode. This is as quick as it would be. We've got other cars down here. I'm not even going to fuss with those things right now. Because once I have something like that, that's what, 40 seconds?
If that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
What I might do at my next stage then is I'll take our kit here, and I'm going to take some water. And a few things. This kit is a little different than what I showed you in that, wherever that went, Amy, the little color chart I made for Italy. But right now, I'm going to take, this is a little bit of cobalt blue. And just take a light wash of that. Take my rag and just kind of feather that down. Now this is what I'm doing right here. It's kind of the quickest version of any sketch that I would do. And you know what I'm going to do, Amy? I'm going to, I keep wanting to reach into this. I'm going to get some water from the side here.
Push it up a little bit.
Yeah, you adjust.
So we can see, they can see this.
Fine.
Let's, oh, sticky. There we go.
Okay, I'll take a little bit of yellow ochre.
Push this up a little so they can see the color.
We can do that
there
as
we
well.
Go.
And I'm just going to lay in, take a little umber with that as well. And just lay in all those buildings that are in shadow over here.
Now I know why it gets so quiet, because I'm just,
Yeah,
when I'm doing the demo stuff, because it's like, oh, what? Fascinating. They get quiet and then I don't know.
do.
It's like way too weird.
And I'm going to take a little bit of that cobalt blue. This is a permanent rose up here. We'll put a little bit of this up here. This is why it's nice to have a little border too. That's super strong. Permanent rose is one of the primaries in the Winsor Newton watercolor range.
It's one of the ones you use in your gouache kit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll take a little bit of the cobalt blue. It's going to make that darker. And I'm going to take just a touch of black to knock that back. There's a little bit of ivory black right there.
Hey Jimmy, what are your thoughts on water brushes?
What are my thoughts on water brushes?
Amy has shared her thoughts, but one of the viewers would like to know.
you know,
You can be honest.
I don't love the feel of them myself. Why don't I? I feel like they're a little thick in my hand. Number one, I'm not.
There's not a lot of belly to it. You're used to applying a certain amount of paint, like soaking up a certain amount, right?
Yes.
And then when there's no belly there to it, because it's just a tapered point, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonky.
Now I can use my
You know, I just love them because I can letter with them.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm
But
not the
for,
only
like,
person that says.
Classical application.
Now, is that your question? Is that a question that just came in
No.
from somebody?
No,
Because
it's Mary's question, not mine.
well, Mary, listen. If you like it, if you're asking because you like it, use it. By all means, absolutely 100% use it. Because this stuff, being able to work quickly, to me, is about working with things that you're comfortable with. Right? Because half the battle is having the things at the ready and at the go. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to do that. So in a situation like this, now there's not much happening here at the moment. This is like, if I've got a minute and a half, sort of like, 3.5 minutes, sort of something like this, it's a reminder of what was happening light and dark. I'll shoot a photo.
Right.
Then later on, I'll do another study in my sketchbook later on, and then build on up.
You've essentially made visual notes for yourself, visual color notes.
Great way of putting it. Visual notes, because there's a few things that you want to ask yourself when you're out and about. What is it that what is capturing your attention? And to me, in this scene, it was not only about that hill that this hill comes up here. It's almost like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's about that, and it's about the drama of the darkness that you see here in this valley of buildings, because this was a very bright day, but here it's about that darkness. So this is nothing more than a visual note.
Right.
That's all it is. And if I back up here and can show you specifically on the trip, this was, go back just a little bit here, it was, my wife wanted to get gelato.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Italian
Oh,
gelato is the
wow.
best.
Yeah.
Okay, hold that down so they can see that.
Yeah. So she wanted to get
that's
gelato.
Gorgeous.
She said, I'm going to go get on this line. And I probably had about 5 to 10 minutes. So this was a very fast sketch with the pen and then laying in washes. So this is an opportunity for me, just using this kit.
Right. Right.
Whoops. Got my hand in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Just using this kit, using everything that you see that I just took out of that little army pack, and be able to sit there on a curb and do that with these taxis waiting right here while she's at it. Again, this is about having a few moments to capture something, because I feel like we live in such a fast-paced world, right? And now when you and I were kids, nobody shot photographs like they shoot now.
Oh, God.
Right? It would have cost you a fortune, right? You had 24 in a roll of film.
Yep.
You never knew what you were going to get. And I feel like now
There was no view screen.
No, there was no view screen, and I don't. Technology is wonderful, and I don't want to say this to sound older than I even am. Like back in my day.
Yeah.
But
it is.
I feel like people live less in the moment.
Yes.
And to me, part of doing this, forget the fact that a lot of you guys are out there. You're artists, or you have a love for the arts, and that's obviously why you tune into these episodes. But for somebody who's a non-artist, even, who sees me sometimes out sketching, and they say, "Oh, that's really cool. I would love to do that." I said, "But you can."
Yes.
Yes. Do it. You can. So let's go back to another. We'll get another clean page here, and I'm going to take a sip, and I'm going to use this as a little visual cue too, because a lot of times some of my sketching is my day starts that way. You have to form a habit. Right? A good habit with this. So if I was having a cup of tea like this, then start looking at the world as everything being simple geometric shapes, and that's really what this cup is, right? It's a basic cylindrical shape. And that cylindrical shape is also the cylinder that we see when we go to other things like, where is it? Oh, there's a little Vespa in here somewhere. Might be back, yeah. Same thing when you see, right, circles, ovals, cylindrical shapes, the whole thing, right, starts as basic, simple concepts. So a lot of my mornings start with little simple sketches like that, that again, you can come in, and if you have a small amount of time, I always have ivory black in this little kit. Just if I have nothing but just a few seconds, I can lay in a quick shadow like this off to the side, right? I can get the inside of that cup, so if light was coming this way, and I can begin to lay that in and feather that over here and come back in with my pen if I want to give more structure to that, right? Maybe there's the top on it like this, right? Maybe we didn't have that there before. That kind of comes around like that. And then maybe there's the little tea bag that's coming off the side of that. And I can come back in. But what I've done is I've been very, very quick about my wash.
Right.
And I've given structure to it with the pen. So I've built back into it. So I think it depends on the amount of time you have when you're going out to sketch on the go. Question?
Yes.
Yes.
So, speaking of sketching on the go.
Sure.
Do you take anything like wax paper, anything to put between when you like if you have to go and you have to close it?
No, I don't. I mean, these are going to dry so fast anyway.
Especially being outside.
Especially being outside. Yeah. So I really don't. There's been a few times I've closed it. I'm not real precious about it.
Right.
I think you have to. One of the things about sketchbooks and about a practice and about keeping it every day is not being so protective of what takes place in it, because I'm showing you things in here. You don't ever have to do that.
Right.
I mean, I don't, it doesn't bother me, I suppose. I mean, there are sketchbooks that, and I have, I do have in other ones that will open up, I do have little notes and pages there, like I've marked off certain pages because I may have written something down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, and I noticed that as you're paging through the thing of your accountant, there were also notes and stuff in there. When you do that where it's not pretty pictures,
right? I
think it takes away some of it makes it so that you're willing to work in there.
Yeah.
You're not making it like, but oh my gosh, I don't want to draw my coffee cup because here I've got all these beautiful vacation sketches.
Right. Well, but
and that's gonna sully the,
Exactly. But Amy, you might want to do that too. And so here's looking down off a balcony in,
yes,
here's
but I love that.
Right.
I love the notes and
Yeah, we ate late lunch yesterday at 4 p.m. and the restaurant there had zucchini pizza and wine after visiting the castle and all that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's about a visual diary that takes place in there as well, but you don't have to show that to anyone. So to me, if you're working in your sketchbook, for instance, and there's, you're whether you're traveling, like I have in here, things like, there's a person sitting here, I think it was, a little person in a cafe. That's like 5 minutes waiting for, that was, I was waiting for my wife to get gelato. This is waiting for espresso. It's waiting for her.
I'm seeing it, yeah.
Yeah, this is doing a lot of, it wasn't bad waiting though.
That's because she's done going,
Yeah. Little cheeky people at a little garden, thermal baths. But while I'm doing something like this, so for instance, if I was drawing somebody sitting there and, here they are and I don't know, they've got their hand on this cup and I don't know, maybe they have sunglasses on so we can get a sense of what's going on with them. All right, something like that. And they're sitting and that arm is resting on the table and the table is here like this and maybe we've got a back of a chair. I don't know what else is going on. I don't look at that if I start to again lay in a wash quickly. I don't worry about, oh, you know what, I just messed that up. He's really, the shoulder is here and it's...
Yeah, or he just moved, and now I need to,
Right, and the hand is really bent more like that and the chair is really higher. It's about working in a very gestural, very, very quick way.
You're getting an impression.
You're getting an impression doing that. And I think, so a few things if we go back to color while we have these out right here. One of the things I like that's sort of a beauty of these new colors is we're going to take a little bit of aqua green right here. I'll lay that down. I'm going to flick it on the other page. And that's,
see, now it's not precious.
It's not so precious, but
oh, yeah,
who
there
knows?
you go.
Kind of other cool things might happen along the way. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to take some transparent orange.
Oh, that color.
Yeah. Look at that earthy sort of, umber color. So if you go back to that photo right there, or you go back here, that's where we could come in with a second pass and really darken and really get the warmth of things like that. Get another, if we were...
this almost matches this right here.
Right.
Just a little darker in value. That's,
yeah,
look at that.
Under the eaves. If we were building this up farther. So it all depends on how much, how much time do I have in a given sketch to build up and work. All sorts of things might happen. Let's take a look at this one here, and we can see some different things. Here's where pen becomes much more apparent in a situation like this. It's all about working quickly with the pen, and I'm just getting a hint of color.
Yeah.
Right? So what are you trying to do with a given sketch? Again, depends upon the amount of time that you have to develop it. In a case like this is also, and I will date, and I even have times. This is Tuesday, June 27th, last year, 9:44 a.m., Woodstock. They become things I can look back on. Like I said, with a visual diary, I can look back on, and I can tell you what else happened and what was going on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and here's just our car in the driveway there. And again, heavy on pen, because and the reason that I really like going in with pen a lot too, is because if I only come in with pencil, let's say, right?
Yeah.
That's something that later on,
Yes.
right, might
We'll have
smear.
that, like you were saying, when people ask about putting glycine in there, yeah.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
pen isn't going to do that, yeah.
right. I mean, if I was going to draw in a sketchbook all the time, it would drive me crazy to have to put something in there, or to have to lay a fixative down,
Yeah,
or to
your
have
can of fixative is double the size of your kit.
of everything that you're doing. Yeah, so I would be really hesitant about something like that. And here's where it goes back to Amy. You're talking about being very visual. This is on a motorcycle trip last summer, and really talking about what was going on, which paints paints more of a picture, a verbal and a visual one to go with this image that later on I'm going to develop. Now, sometimes these sketches get developed into final works. Sometimes they don't. But the way I look about this is, no matter how busy my day is, I can make 5 minutes. Right. To sketch. I can make that quick. Now, sometimes too, I'll bring this book back, we'll come in just like this one, only with watercolor. So no pen taking place in here, which is a little bit more bold. It is something that later on we could come in, and if I wanted to get feeling of a top of a palm tree, and I wanted to get more of that texture in there, even something like that, even coming back over top of this now.
Yeah, you're just going back and refining that looseness of the color.
Sure, building that up more if that's something that I want to do, really defining what's happening with the horizon line, if I want to do that as well, is something that's definitely possible. But also playing with this idea of, see, has all those messed up pages. Playing with the idea of dropping color into one another, and we're going to go with, let's take some of that cobalt green deep that we had before, and we're going to dump some of that on the page right here. Now, that's a very granulating color on our watercolor paper. On a paper that doesn't have quite as much texture, that's going to be less apparent.
It's like almost a hot press, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not quite. It's got a little bit of tooth.
It's got a very little bit of tooth to it. It's got a very little bit of tooth. And I'll go with something like this. We could even check out the actual weight. Amy, I don't know if it has it in here.
Feels like about 150 grams.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
No, it's just.
It's so thin.
I'm having to handle so many. Yeah.
But there you start to even, just by dropping wet into
Suddenly,
wet.
Yep. You see that pushing of that.
Yep. Those pigments are pushing against one another. And that's where you get a nice idea of being able to work wet into wet to be able to produce texture. So I think thumbnails are a nice idea as well. So if sometimes if I'm sketching with a certain subject, let's use a different, let's use this one right here. We'll swap out this picture. This was looking towards the Colosseum, right? So I might have, even within one page, I might have something, if I'm working really fast, where I will just lay in darkness here. There's the Colosseum there. This road is coming out way over here. Shadows coming across, darker as they go up that little hill right here. Got a little water on there. Coming across here. Darkness of these other shapes right here. So I might have a little study like this that's real quick, and it's just about light dark. And then maybe I look and I say, okay, you know what? I've got a little bit more time. I'm not in such a rush. Maybe it's another thumbnail as well, where I sit and I sketch this out too, just get kind of big ideas. But now, what did you call it? Did you call it color notes? I don't know what you called that before. That was kind of nice.
Odd terms.
No, it's a good term because it links together not just visual art, but it links together music and notes, and that's what it's all about. You know, you can when you're making whether you're making music or whether you're doing it with making a visual statement with art, you have color notes, you have musical notes, and the art of it is how do you put those things together, right? Anybody can bang out a bunch of notes on a piano.
Toddlers can testify to that.
Yeah, that doesn't make it music,
Yeah.
right? So it's about what visual cues do you make. So again, I'm now translating that little moment, use a little bit of burnt umber, and I'm going to take a little bit of that cobalt blue, just so I get a little bit of coolness and darkness to what's happening back there. Maybe just even a touch more of that blue, really. Yeah, I can use that same thing to come across.
Now I'm going to say while you're doing this, that this is where I know people always leave comments about talent. Jimmy does this every day, but you know what I'm saying? No,
Practice.
no. I'm saying. Have you ever seen the meme where the person's saying, "Oh my gosh, you've got God-given talent," and the little girl goes, "It's practice," and they're like, "I mean, probably your grandparents and your great-grandparents," and she's like, "It's practice." Like, just.
So, okay.
I
so
want them to
because
because you kind of blow people's minds with this. That's why I'm making this point.
Okay.
In that you do this and you keep doing it, and it's something that anybody can with a practice of doing this. You know,
Okay.
And when you were scribbling this out, we're going to be talking about composition coming up.
Oh, good,
in an episode.
good.
People will spend 3 days on a composition only to step back and then go, ugh.
Yeah, okay.
So this is a beautiful way of giving just notes.
Yes.
Little visual keynotes, and then to go, okay, no, that's not going to work.
All right, so let's line up some real quick tips here.
Okay.
While we still have a little bit, a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Quick tips. Yeah, you're right. When I was a college professor, I used to tell my students, my brand new students in class, I used to say, I don't know. You may be way more talented than I ever could even hope to be. I don't know. I just met you. But what I do know is I've been doing it longer than you. And anything that you put your mind to and spend a lot of time doing, you're going to get better. And I always use the example because I love baseball. If a professional baseball player took me and focused for 3 months, I would be much better.
Right.
Now that might mean I would still be the crappiest person you ever saw play this sport, but I would be better than I am today.
Right.
Now, to your point, Amy, if you work on one piece, and this is where the sketchbook comes in.
Yes.
If you work on one studio piece, nice size canvas, for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it tanks, you feel like you have so much invested in that, and it fell apart, and then you beat yourself up. You don't beat yourself up in this.
No.
This is all about quick notations. So, tips for the sketchbook. It's a studio that's going to be on the go anytime with you at any place. I can do this on the little tray table on a plane. I can do it on a train. Sound like Dr. Seuss now, right?
Yes.
When you're working, draw anything and everything.
Yes.
Look at everything. Like I said, every morning when you have your cup of coffee, draw it for the next week.
And breaking it down into shapes is a very confrontational way of approaching a subject that otherwise people are concerned about.
Yeah, if you go about the rest of the evening, all day tomorrow, every single thing that you look at is made up of shapes. So if we even right here, because I like to take a lot of images where there's vehicles and things like that. So let's just, if I just do that and take a rectangular shape first, just like that, in perspective, I can then, let's kind of curve that back like this, and let's do this with a windshield now, and let's just elongate that a little bit, and I don't know, maybe it's round headlights, I don't know, there's a grill here, I'm not sure, there's a wheel there, and it's going back to that one, and that's throwing a little shadow here, and
Push it up a little bit.
yeah, little, right, I'm not sure what else is happening with that, but you know, very quickly you kind of get the idea, and I can come back in and let's take a little bit of that smalt, right? Let's take smalt. I like smalt, and I'm going to mix right in my sketchbook here. I like smalt and a little bit of umber. It's kind of a nice go-to, just soft shadow. Let's say the light is kind of coming, right? Like it's kind of a, just block that whole thing in there. I can do that. I get a little bit across there. You know, I can come in with the pen and get darker where that wheel is. But all of this is based upon a shape first, right? A basic shape first. So I would say draw anything and everything. That's number one. When you are looking at a subject, let's say if it's this thing, this image of looking back at the Colosseum, know what your focal point is. Know where your horizon line is. If you have reference photos that you take, whether again it's your daily travels or whether it's later, where's our bigger nib? The number 8, Amy, do we have? There it is, right there. Draw on the thing, because look at what we talked about with shapes. There's a triangle.
Yep.
Don't worry about the bench. Don't worry about the little pillar. Don't worry about the people that you can't even quite see. I think that might be steps, but who cares? That's a triangle right there.
Yeah, you can't tell if you just see the shadowy shapes.
This is a big giant triangle. This is another triangle. This, roughly as it goes back in shape, space, is a cylinder. There's another half dome, and then a square that makes, or a rectangle that makes that one another basic triangular shape. So,
right.
So if you start looking at those things and saying, can I draw that? Sure, I can draw that. I can draw that. We'll worry about all the little stuff that sticks out here later on. So what's another tip? Simplify.
Yes.
Right? Simplify. Break things down into lights and darks. So when you squint your eyes and look at this, Amy,
see, Jimmy said squint.
Yeah.
It's not just Amy.
Get crow's feet a little bit early. But look at that, Amy. Now that, you see that negative space here as a shape. Look at up here. This little bit of the sky. There's another, right, another triangular space there. How are we on time? I know we're getting close. I'm going to show one or two other things if we're...
Just a few more minutes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you throw up hands, throw up numbers.
She'll start chucking things at
Yeah,
you.
it's about 6:30, so
You can chuck stuff.
getting towards the end, but if you think
Providence,
things you can
yeah, Providence,
Oh, nice.
Rhode Island, and that goes from.
Oh,
Now I don't know if you
nice.
guys have a glare. Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
That's not too bad. So this goes from quick little sketch at 8/19, and that was in October. So now that wasn't that. Now I didn't. That's not plein air, right? So that
Probably
that
not
was no,
in
definitely
October.
not. It wasn't
It would've been
8/19 in
Providence.
October on the 27th. It would have been dark.
Yeah.
So I'll take photos sometimes in the afternoon. This one was on location though. So you can see sort of a similar approach. But look at this. This is very much about what we just looked at. It's the same scene.
Yeah.
You can see what I'm attracted to.
Right, yeah.
Right? So it's about that drama of shadow. Here's that vehicle, right? Here's the sky, which really is the opposite of what's happening right down here. So it's driving back in space and then back up. And then here, this is watercolor. You can still see pen in here. And then there's also gouache that I'm laying over top. And I'm really dragging gouache, getting stuff on the glass, dry brush over top there.
Yeah, it almost at first when you pulled it out.
Pastel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It totally.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I know that's not the case, but it's that opacity.
Yeah.
And the dry brushing gives it.
Yeah. I'm especially in this area that is my is right up front. I'm using a dry brush with gouache, which is opaque, over transparent sections of watercolor. And then even and you guys probably can't see this too clear, but right here and right here, the little fire escape,
Yeah.
that's just fine liner. I'm not getting in
Just a
there.
little scribble. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little scribble.
But you know what it is? Because of just the suggestion of that line.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, those are windows. There's just a hint. There's
Yes.
just these
Yes.
beautiful little hints of suggestion.
So let's finish by mentioning this. Please look at my favorite, one of my favorite artists of all time, a watercolorist, well, known for his oil portraits, but John Singer Sargent.
Yes.
And look at his paintings of Venice, and look at the little windows, and in his watercolors, you will see nothing more than
Yep.
a dash, and you
Yeah.
go, it reads as a window. So simplify what you see. If you go check me out on Instagram at Jimmy Leslie Art.
Don't
Basically,
check you out,
well,
follow you,
whatever.
because then they're going to see what you're doing.
Sure, you
every
can do
day.
that.
That
You
would
can
be
do
fantastic.
that. But this is 99% of what I have on there are daily sketches. So it's that practice. But again, please also keep in mind what we started with Amy. Don't go, oh, Jimmy posted a sketch 7 days last week. We did that every day. I haven't done that every day. I'm
Right.
Well, don't beat yourself up over stuff like that,
to
please.
doing it.
No, and
do
also
it.
keep in mind, again, there are times when I might fill up 5 pages in one day,
Right.
and then the next day I got stuck in meetings. I'm
Right,
jumping on.
right,
I'm
right.
doing this. I'm going there. I do find time even in those little moments sometimes, but not all the time.
Right.
Also, our education program is on Instagram is TFAC for the Fine Art Collective, NA for North America, and I'll also put other tips, some things that we're talking about, a lot of color-related things and
Nice,
stuff like that,
okay.
so people can check that out. But ask us questions there, and if you ask Amy a question, I'm sure they connect with you a lot too. I'm happy that you filter them back to me as well, because this is it's a bigger subject
yes.
than an hour. But again, if it was like 1 minute to talk, and you said, Jimmy, how do I start doing this? Make sure that your supplies can go with you every day. I can basically fit these in my pocket
Yeah.
right now if I didn't have that little pack. Make sure you have some colors that make sense for the environment that you're in. On the Winsor Newton website, you can find that the 6 colors are Winsor Lemon, Winsor Yellow, that's a warm and cool.
Yes.
Permanent Rose, and Scarlet.
They're
warm and
actually
cool.
on the Jerry's page. They're
Oh.
labeled as the new colors, the
Oh.
new jewel tone colors. It's flagged on all of
Okay,
those colors,
good,
so
good,
it's
good.
really easy to find.
Yeah. So if you have that stuff, and then you go into it being somewhat fearless and not worry about, because nobody has to see this,
Right.
and make it an everyday practice, or at least average it every day, you'll get there over time.
Oh, definitely.
And I always tell people, and I mean this truthfully, if I certainly wouldn't want my studio to burn down, but that's what I'd save. Because I can look back every day, and it is so much more vivid than the time we live in when people click, click, click,
Right.
click, 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 click.
Well, they're like little beautiful daily vignettes, kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
everything, your experiences. So
It's a lot of fun when you get down to it. I really think it's enjoyable. It's a nice way to meet people while you travel too.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
That's very true.
yeah. I've met a lot of cool people that way, and you can sell some stuff too.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. That's awesome.
Good stuff. Any questions?
Yeah. Do we have questions, ladies?
Good.
I think they've asked what, and
Nice.
everybody else has just been,
Yeah, yeah.
ooh.
See, now I know how they feel.
Yeah.
Now I'll know why it gets so quiet.
Keep at it. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here.
Are you
I
kidding? My pleasure.
totally appreciate it.
No. My pleasure. Absolutely.
This has been, and these still, look how bold and bright these are.
Yeah. Well, that's
being dry.
and again,
It's
that's
just-
where you see,
yeah.
especially
Yeah, yeah.
smalt and
Yeah.
cobalt green deep. You see the
Yeah.
granulation right there.
Oh, we don't have it on, but look, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, those are fantastic.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think you want to be
All
excited
right.
about that too. You want to be excited about what's in your kit.
Oh, no,
That-
I
that-
agree. Well, no, because it's going to make you want to work, definitely.
And now I'm going to leave those with you, and you. Can play.
Oh,
You don't get to take them off.
it's nice.
Great.
So, all right, well, thank you again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it. This was fantastic. And we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.